Hello, Donna. How are you?
Awesome, Danielle. Great to be here.
Thank you. I'm so happy that we get to do this. And I'm just checking that we're streaming live. So, Donna, thank you for your time today. The funny thing is, for all of you listening, we actually have done this interview already once. And I think it was like this would be the third time that we're attempting to do it because Donna, I asked her to share her story while she was on a cruise and in the middle of the ocean. And, like Wi-Fi isn't so strong on a cruise.
It was a beautiful background, though.
It was. And like we did our best to like take pieces of it. And it's still like Donna was like frozen. So here we are in perfect timing. The universe always knows the perfect timing. So we're here live with you to share your story. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So 2020, was it actually 2020 when you joined the community or was it 2019?
It was late 2019 when we joined. Yes, for reasons other than what happened in 2020. So it's so interesting when I decided to join and jump. It was for a completely different reason. And it's so interesting that the universe puts you in a place where you are exactly meant to be. And in 2020, I was exactly meant to be in this community. No question.
So good. We often say that we don't know why you say yes or why your inner being's pulling you here. And yet here you are. I'm going to change something here to see. I just noticed, I want to make sure that the both of us are being seen, Donna, in the group. So let's just see if that's going. Oh yeah, we are. Yay. So, so you felt the call to join us in late 2019, obviously having no idea what was about to come in 2020. So tell us about what you do as a business owner and like what you're up to and paint the picture of where you were March 2020, what was happening with your business?
Okay, so I own a gymnastics club in the community that I live in. It's a bricks and mortar building. I have over 7,000 square feet of space that I run this business out of. Just had my 10th anniversary. So that's very exciting. I started this a little later in my life. So, I was on just about to get on a cruise. Coincidentally, in 2020, I was in Florida and I had left Florida with a March break program that was about to commence. And everything had been planned for, money had been deposited for students that were enrolling. I was registering my spring program at that time, and I felt great time to go on a vacation. While we were waiting to get on that cruise in 2020, the world shut down. Like it was almost instantaneous. The moment we left, seemed everything was fine. Customs guys, even the US Customs said, don't worry, everything's good. Like nobody had a clue what was about to come down. So, it was such an emotional shock when that happened. We had to scramble to get back home. So it was, we were on with the airline for like 12 hours on hold to try to get flights back. And when I got back, I still wasn't 100% sure exactly what was happening. I didn't want to believe that everything was shutting down, but in fact, it had. And I started getting calls from people that had enrolled in these programs who wanted a refund. And quite rightly so, they weren't going to be getting the service and they wanted to refund the money. And as I remember the day like it was yesterday, being in the gym, answering those calls, and my heart just kept sinking and sinking. Call after call after call, people were like asking for their money back, and I had a little bit of a meltdown, big meltdown, was spiraling, and then I just stopped and I thought, Donna, you've been in this work now for almost 6 months. Like, use the work, use the tools. So I just shifted my perspective. And I looked at it kind of the opposite. So yes, people were asking me for a refund. I didn't know where the money was going to come from. It was like depleting like water out of my account. But then I realized these people were afraid to, they were in fear. They needed that money too, because a lot of them were unemployed. So I just shifted my perception to, I got to give back. I got to give them money. And then the next phone call that came in when someone said, I don't know if this is possible, but I really need my money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, of course, absolutely, I'll refund you. And just listening to the gratitude in their voice, just made me, I get teary when I think of it, because it just made me feel so good to be able to do that. And then I hung up, and the next call came in, and I got to do it again, and I got to do it again. And it just changed how I was thinking about things. It wasn't, I didn't know where it was all going to come from, but I felt much better being able to shift my perception to, I get to give instead of me thinking in lack that I'm not going to have it.
Yeah, what you describe is like, for everyone listening, it's like very challenging when you're in that situation to use your mental muscles in a way that serves you. And so, Donna, the fact that you were able to stay in control, and go to your tools is huge. And I remember that time, like I remember, I don't know if you put it in the Q&A, like, what do I do? Do I give them like this money? Cause like, I might not be able to pay my rent now. That was like a real reality, or your staff, you know?
Everything.
So, and like you said, it's like leaving your account like water. I can just see a glass with like holes in the bottom, and it's just like, you know, coming out, and it doesn't mean that your expenses aren't there. Mm-hmm. And so that, your ability to stay in control, to shift your perception. This is part of what we were talking about in potentiality, shifting your perception to see your current situation from a different point of view, and therefore respond in a different energy rather than react. Because when you first got this, you were reacting, and then you responded, and that response determined what came next for you in your business. So because you were able to stay in a vibration, and in fact, you went to gratitude, you went to, I get to help these people. I get to help the families who have invested in my business over the years. I get to actually help them by refunding the money. Mm-hmm. What happened next? Because around this time, I remember the businesses around you were closing, like you had all the evidence in the world that things were crashing down and fast.
Yeah, because it was such a long closure over the next few months, I seriously considered it. Maybe it's time. Maybe this is the time that we need to shut down. And
good. For good, you meant
like good.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, yeah, not open. Like am I going to invest more of my own money into my business again? Like, you know, I had just paid off a big debt that I had to open the business. Now, was I going to incur debt again? Like, it was all of these things we're going through, and all the business owners around me that closed was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And those were the conversations they were having with me. And I remember, you know, it was something in our community where it was probably a lesson that we were on about shifting and not letting the outside circumstances control you.
And answering the question, like, what do you want? Do you actually want to close the doors? Because if the answer would have been yes, that's a different scenario. Right. The answer was no. And the answer was also no with your colleagues, like the gym across the street. Did they want to close, or did they feel like they had to? They didn't have a choice. Exactly. And they didn't have a choice because they didn't know what you knew. They didn't have the ability to use their mental muscles because they were never taught this in school. And it sounds like hokey pokey in the beginning, you know, it sounds like fluff, like whatever. But your answer to that question was, no, I don't want this. So then you got to answer, well, what do I want? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And from that answer, what was it? Do you remember?
Oh, I clearly wanted a thriving business. Yeah. That's what I wanted. This was my baby. I couldn't imagine not having this, and I wanted a thriving business.
But how could you have a thriving business with the world shutting down and your bricks and mortar? Like, that was the remember? It was like, but like how? Because I teach kids gymnastics. They've got to come into my gym. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do with the 7,000 square feet sitting empty it's got to be paid for. How, like, logically, this sounds like a pipe dream.
And it did until we had a call, you and I think there was a lot of people on this call where we did it's a 3-3-3 exercise where we brainstormed how I could pivot and move forward.
Yeah, it was a hot seat coaching mastermind magic, like literal magic happened during that call.
Yes. And not only did I come up with ideas, and, for those of you who aren't in this work yet, there's no saying, oh, I've tried that before, it doesn't work. Oh, no, I can't do. You stay completely open to everything because you hear it a different way. It's a different time. Maybe it could work. So with all of that, I started to feel so good that, I had something to do. During that time, I got completely out of my comfort zone
I
and
remember.
Recorded videos of myself. All my children at my gym call me Miss Donna. So it was Miss Donna's video of the week. And I would coach all the kids online on something that week. And I would start off with gratitude. So I was bringing that up first. Then we would go into the lesson. Was it a cartwheel, whatever it was? And there I am setting up my little iPhone on the piles of mats, trying to get the angle. Like I had no professional photographer. I had not, and I did it anyways. So I didn't wait till anything was perfect. I just got out and I did it. People saw it. They bought it. Then I ended up going, I need a new website because I need to be able for people to pay online now. So I created a whole website. So all of this was happening when everyone else was shutting their doors and I was starting a new website, having new online programs.
Busy bee.
Yeah, just go, no matter what. Right. And it just felt good.
Yeah. And you just kept going and creating, and because you got so busy in your own world, you literally had your head down. So then you were no longer caught up in what the masses were dealing with because you were creating and you didn't know if anyone was going to buy.
No.
Here's the thing. We never know if it's going to work, but we've got to be willing to show up and do it anyway. And you got outside your comfort zone and you just kept going. I love that. I just love it. And here's the thing, Donna, do you think you would have done any of this without being in the community, receiving the coaching, learning about your mental muscles?
No, 100% no.
And like, what about that time when it was so frustrating and the videos didn't look so good and you were putting your phone on the mat? Would you have kept going?
No, absolutely not. I would have let my paradigm go back in saying, this is silly. You look stupid. Nobody's going to watch anyways. It's a waste of time. And I heard that from people. And even family members, were like, we'd understand, Donna, like, it's okay to let go. There's a reason. And yeah, everybody else in the world thought it was okay.
Yeah. It wasn't what you wanted though. I mean, here's the thing, like I can see it. And I saw how busy, I also saw how much you got outside of your comfort zone. It wasn't easy. And you guys, the journey to success isn't easy always either. There are moments that become easier because we practice. And what is so important is to recognize is we can't do it alone. Like I don't see people succeeding on their own without the support around them. Now, why I think your success story is so important right now, Donna, is because I really do feel a little bit of deja vu.
Yep.
I feel that the world is in a position that's similar to 2020. I'm not saying it's the same. And the feeling out there feels very similar, where we're not sure what's coming. We're not sure how long this is going to last. And people are scared. And we're listening about interest rates and banks and employment and and all the things that we're hearing out there. And there will be people that hide, that crumble, that close their doors. There will be businesses like that. There will be people who get laid off. There will be people who hope and pray that things stay the same for them. We know that we're either growing or going backwards. So we know what staying the same looks like, going backwards. And then there will be people who invest in themselves and in their businesses right now. And those people, just like you did, you invested in new websites, you invested time in learning new skills, you invested in mentorship, you continued your mentorship in 2020, the year when it was like actually right when it was the most volatile, probably in the last half of the year, you invested again in our community. So there will be people who have the courage to do that, like you did.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, and in that, to the outside, like you said, it looks risky. It looks crazy.
Yeah, sharing the investment that I made was something that I kept pretty close to myself because of the people that I was surrounded with. I didn't want to stay stuck. I didn't want to stay like, oh, you know, you're good enough where you are. I know that that's not the truth. The truth for me is I'm made for so much more. And oh my gosh, I can't even tell you the return on my investing in this community is, I should do the math. I haven't, but it's got to be 1,000 times over what I put into this.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So since then, so what happened during COVID? You diversified, you started showing up online, you created a website to create online payments. You started doing things anyway. You started adding, like, once people were allowed back into the gym again, you were adding new programs, new ways to serve your clients. Like, you really thought outside the box. I love some of the things.
I did gymnastics in the park. I did all just to get out there, to keep my name, to keep the company visible, to just keep in, just to let people know I was still there.
And so then now what? So years later, now you're on this other side, your business has its doors open. You have more employees, I believe, than what you ever have.
Absolutely.
Or children in your
payroll yesterday. It was $13,668.
The most it's ever been, I'm assuming. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's something to celebrate. Like, you are paying people, you're creating jobs and impact. And how many families did you just have in the March break camp?
Oh my gosh. So we've had the biggest March break ever. So generally my camps I'll get 10 to 20 kids a day. We had 50 kids a day in that program. It was unbelievable. And the moment that we were able to open up our doors back in 2021, because I had been out there, because I had done online, because I was equipped with the online things, and because I believe I stayed in integrity with the people that had invested with me in the beginning, that I refunded, everybody came back.
So
everybody came back. And more. Like, it's been a flood. It's just been the most incredible experience the last couple of years. I've had personal best months. I've had sessions over 500 kids. My winter session, we just almost hit 600 kids in the session. And it's just, now I just know it's faith. I just know that this is the way, it's the new norm. It's going to happen.
So cool. So cool. So you've also, other things, like outside of the success of your business, you've also built healthier relationships, I think, in your personal life and with your family. You have been traveling, I think, more than ever. Travel has always been something you've loved. You're looking at investing in property in another country. You just felt like a year-long vacation, but it was like a month-long vacation, so that you were able to leave your business. Like, you're more confident than ever, the way that I see you show up. You're now working with us directly.
Yeah.
On the Empress team with me, which I'm so grateful for that. Mm-hmm. You've received awards in your community.
Yeah.
The Chambers Award, right? And then you became part of the board. Is that right?
I am the vice president of sponsorship for our local board of trade right now. And yeah, Yeah. So, and I received the Woman of Influence Award for our community, Business Excellence Awards. I've been recognized, a lot for what I've done in the community and for how I support. I was Employer of the Year this year, so that was
Amazing.
nice. Yeah. To be
Amazing.
able to support. Yeah.
And you're like, I see you handing checks of donations, like you're really making a mark in the community. I do believe that, you may have been able to do this on your own. And I don't know for sure, because the support and seeing you lean into the community and ask for coaching.
I think
know for sure it's
number one, Danielle, being coachable. And even though it might seem illogical or uncomfortable, I was able to do that with the support of everyone in this community, not my neighbors or my direct family or some friends. Just this community really kind of lifts you up. It understands your goals because everyone has the same aspirations and goals too. So we all just lift and hold each other and hold the space and always see each other as Donna with her goal achieved, or whoever with their goal achieved. And I've never had that in any other place that I've been. I just had a dinner with my parents, and my father had said some things that really didn't sit nicely with me, and it's okay. They don't get it, and that's okay. They are where they are. They're where they don't understand this, and that's why leaning into this community is so important, because you can get, taken back with the masses, and if you do, then you're just going to stay where the masses are.
Yeah.
So do something different. Do something illogical. If you don't see it, the how, don't think about that. Think about the potential that is there for you. That's all I keep thinking about, is the potential that I have that gets me to the next step. I'm not saying I'm perfect. This is why I'm still here. I'm still learning every single day. I'm still learning how to take myself out, how to balance my life. But I am doing it here because this is where I know I'm meant to be.
What's so cool is, like, I was just thinking about this, is what we've done here with you is collapse time. Perhaps you were always going to be the employee of the year for your community. However, would have that been 10 years later? So it really feels like, Donna's in her company, she, like, 6-figure months is a norm. So she's part of that millionaire, the graduates of the millionaire movement, excuse me. And that's a norm. And I know that you're going way beyond that. And I think what is important to understand is, like, there was a moment in 2020 where you weren't even sure that you could pay the bills. And now there's 6 figures and more every single month. And you're blessing your community so much. I think, if anything, we've collapsed time. We've helped you keep it going, saying yes.
And the universe, like, it opens up possibilities. So you take one step. The momentum has been incredible. And gosh, I just watched that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, last night. And there's so many different, one decision of one thing can take you into an entirely different direction. And I really, truly believe the decision to join you. And Danielle, I've never seen one thing you've done, nothing. All I did was hear about you and what you were teaching. And I just knew it aligned. I had one 15-minute conversation with you.
And you said yes.
Yeah. So I didn't have a master class. I didn't have a free nothing to go by, but just use my intuition that I knew this was the right place.
And waiting is also a decision. So imagine if you wouldn't have made the decision then, where you'd be. So to your point, the movie, Everything Everywhere at Once, whatever it's called, is like the one decision. You have the opportunity, everyone listening has an opportunity to make that one decision right now, today. And it takes you on a totally different trajectory for your life. A world of possibilities open up or you make the decision to stay where you are, which has a totally different future, or you make the decision to wait and make it later. You never know what that is. So if you're here now and you're listening and you have the intuition to jump, let this be your sign to jump in and join us. And let us catch you. Let us be the support. You'll find your wings only once you jump. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. And thank you for everything. I am in such gratitude for you and this community and the team. Thank you.
So proud of you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you in our community.